And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Thursday, the 19th, 2026, not 25. And we're here to talk seriously, without any agenda, ulterior motive, or bias, everything that affects you and the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, everything. We will cover it. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post on our X feed. Don't follow us on X. You should. Just put our name in on X. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. We'll also post it, by the way, on the YouTube channel, BizTV. Ladies and gentlemen, a rare occasion today. We are pre-taping this show very early, midday in the markets. It's a very busy day for us and a travel-related day. So as we speak, it is 12:30 p.m. exactly, and we'll take you for a little bit. I will give out the numbers on the market as they are trading and tell you what's going on. There's some things sticking out, but there's also a couple other things I want to do, and you'll get it in a second. So as we speak, Dow is down 260. S&P 25, NASDAQ 74, NASDAQ 100, 105. What's sticking out? Let's talk negatives. Those that have been listening to us, we have gotten real worried on a lot of the financial areas. And some of it is based on the artificial intelligence crap. Just recently, the brokerage stocks have got hammered. Ameriprise, LPL, Raymond James, Stifel, Schwab, Jefferies have been hit hard. And they're getting roughed up again today. They bounced anemically recently, and they're getting a little roughed up again. And to give you an idea, Ameriprise was 550 6 days ago. It's 471. LPL was 400. It's 322. And they haven't said anything. It was just something that came out on artificial intelligence and what it's going to do. And of course, you already know about the software that's pretty much been destroyed over months, but recently it had a 20% drop in a week, piling on to the weakness it already had. But back to the financials. Private equity companies have been mauled. These are private equity / buyout shops. You want to know what we mean? Let's start with one you may have not heard of. Aris Management. Hit at 195 in August, but the last drop was about 6 weeks ago, 177 to 127. By the way, it's not a fly-by-night. They do $5 billion in revenues. But you know Blackstone. It's gone from 190 to 125 since October, and in the last 5 weeks, 165 to 125. We're talking some serious drops here. But also Apollo, 153 to 117 in 5 weeks, 6 weeks. How about KKR, 137 to 100? And by the way, the high was back in August of 153. How about TPG, which is Texas Pacific Group, 70 to 43? I mean, what the hell? So you got a little bit of that going on also. Evercore's another one, not as bad, 388 to 324. But it's of note. And then you've got American Express just dropped 386 to 340. MasterCard. By the way, MasterCard just in a bear market. Topped at 601 in September. It's 518. Visa topped at 375 last June. Is 317. Not the biggest of drops. Not the end of the world. Capital One just was 259 at a high recently. It's 204. So the credit card companies. That's a lot of financials, right? Which leads us to the banks. And I will tell you, up until a few weeks ago, they were okay. JP Morgan just dropped 10%. Not a biggie. Morgan Stanley just went from 192 to 173, almost 10%. Citigroup, 124 to 115 before you can blink. Bank America, 10%. Bank of New York, almost 10%. The big Goldman, 7%. And for the record, may I state, we don't want to be able to come on this show and say to you, the banks are now going into a bearish process of note, like the software stocks of months ago. And as you know, the software stocks is down 35% as a whole. So we're not there yet, and it may not get there yet, but we're just letting you know now the banks are coming in. And we're big believers that they matter. They're number 2 in what we call mattering. Number 1 is the semis. So just letting you know a heads up. And we own the banks. We don't own them anymore. Our last one was Morgan Stanley. I think we got out at, higher than this. Let's put it that way. I don't remember exactly what the number, but we had Citigroup also and had a bad reaction to earnings. So we'll see. We don't want to get to the point where we say to you, dang, the banks looking like software. We have this terminology, topping, topped. We'll call them toppy right now, meaning they're trading under the 50-day. It's moving towards topping, but they haven't taken out what we consider to be real important support. You ready for a number? JP Morgan at 296. That would be of import. That would be a number to us. For starters. So we're just a heads up for you on that, because we already know, listen carefully, how bad software is, how bad crypto is. We've been saying recently the hope is the last 2 or 3 weeks where they found a low will hold. A break below that and more hell breaking loose. We've already noted we have this left screen, which is lesser tech or broken tech that acts terribly. You already know about the blown up froth that we warned you about months ago. No sales, very little sales, big money losers in the themes of nuclear and rare earth and quantum and drones and all that crap. They've blown up. You already know about ADP and paychecks. I mean, holy crap, big bear markets there. You know about auto dealers we're not fond of. We don't want to lose more. Simple as that. Insurance stocks. I think that's been part of the artificial intelligence drop also. They're in bad shape. So I'm going to throw a couple more at you today. Airlines. Now, maybe cause and effect. We have something called the USO. It's oil, spot price. It's gone from 67 to 81 in 5 weeks. In the last 2 days, it has gone from 76 to 81. That's oil prices, which means prices at the pump are going to go higher. What's going on? There's rumors we're attacking Iran this weekend. Rumors. We are sending a lot of our stuff over there. There is something called the Straits of Hormuz. that a lot of oil goes through there. It is controlled by the bad guys. It usually forces up oil prices. That's what's going on right now. If oil prices go up, who gets affected the most? Well, airlines. So there may be some cause and effect here. Up next, we'll go through them. We'll keep you up to date on the numbers. And then, well, you'll get it when I get to it. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, by the way, it's 1240. The Dow is down 278, NASDAQ 2083, NASDAQ 100 115. But I can tell you for a change, Meta, Google, Dell, Oracle, Tesla are up a little bit today. Broadcom up a little bit today. That never hurts when the big stuff is up a little bit because there's such an influence. American Airlines, let me describe. That's topped. Bad airline stock. Alaska Air, that's topped. Allegiant Air has been strong and pulling back. Delta broke the 50-day moving average today. JetBlue, very low price name. We'll call it okay. Southwest Airlines, been a beast. I got no complaints. UAL, about to break the 50-day moving average. So some distribution in the airlines, I think cause and effect. Just letting you know. The cruise lines, they're coming in a little bit. Maybe some cause and effect. You use a lot of petroleum on that also. To be watched, because if oil prices keep going up, cost of energy goes up, profits come down. And the longer it stays up, the worse. Not only for business, but for the consumer. But probably a cause and effect. And if we go in, we'll get a spike. We get out, probably comes down. We'll let you decide on going in Iran. You know what our thoughts are. This administration for over a decade made fun of the Bushes and the Cheneys, calling them warmonger neocons. We have, in a long time, we have never seen more of a warmonger neocon than this administration. Oh, wait a minute, he's stopping wars. He's into Venezuela, Iran, threatening Greenland. Do I need to keep listing? He's a neocon, an interventionist. And by the way, we don't say that as bad. We say it is they were full of crap. That's all. And all the people that voted for them, this administration, based on not wanting to do these things, well, hypocrisy comes very easy. What else? I see no issues with the glamour types in the data storage, that stuff, as of yet. The semiconductors, they've all had bad days, good days, but they've kept their uptrends. I have no issues. And even today, SanDisk is up 11. It was up 30. Symbol Light, LIT's up 26 today. Sienna is up. Coherent is up, with the NASDAQ down 85. So we'll see how it goes if they worsen trouble. The semiconductors are down today. The SOX is down 95. They're pulling back some of the equipment makers, but I don't see any really breaking down that are of import. Just pullbacks. Maybe a couple getting in trouble. What just blew up? I think we had one blow up recently. Oh, symbol ACLS completely blew up. So a little bit of that. Commodities, they've been on the mostly bullish side. They're pulling back a little, no big deal. You already know about gold and silver. Our theme that they're going to go through some time and price is what's happening now. And that means you got the Eiffel Tower up there. You're not going to get back to that anytime soon. Not saying we're not going to go higher eventually, but usually takes time. Silver is much worse than gold. Much worse. The big indices, I got to tell you, the NASDAQ remains below the 50-day moving average. But if you look at Tuesday, you had a pretty good reversal day into the green. I think that probably sticks for now. And we'll see if we can get going again. The NASDAQ 100, same as the NASDAQ. The S&P, living below the 50-day, not as bad as the NASDAQ 100. The Dow, little bit above, but really just range bound. The mid caps, better, but getting range bound. And the same goes for the Russell. Foreign markets have beaten our you-know-whats this year. And frankly, last year, they have slowed down a bit, but no biggie. Defense stocks very strong today. Everyone loves a war, and this president says he wants to spend $1.5 trillion on defense in the next year. Just so you know, in 2001, we spent $300 billion. They have five-folded the numbers on defense. Five-fold. And you know me. I think the number one job of any leader of any country, city, state is to protect the citizens, not $1.5 trillion. By the way, our whole federal budget in the year 2000 was $1.8. Dow down 306, S&P 31, NASDAQ 103, NASDAQ 100, 140. Weighing on the Dow today, Goldman down 19. In case you don't know, take 19 times 6.5, and you get Dow points. So you're talking about 130, close. American Express is down 7. Again, weakness there. Visa down 4, another financial. Roughed up city, kids. So a little bit icky. We've kept it very close to the vest. And if there's anything we are watching, it is these financials that seem to be just, we don't try to rationalize. You know what that means, right? Gotta have a reason. When we see price and patterns in bull and bear markets, we don't try to rationalize the moves. We do know there's cause and effect. We do know whys. Hey, why? Because. We just care about the moves. And the financials are getting a little more suspect by the day. Up next, 2028 is going to come quickly. I'll explain what I mean. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So we have midterm elections coming up, and I am in the camp that the Republicans are going to have their arse handed to them. It does not matter if we have 5% GDP and the market's up. The Republicans and this administration, when you are full of yourself, that's when you make your biggest mistakes. When we say to you the greatest successes is because people are paranoid, where they're really always looking over their shoulders, making sure of this, that, and the other thing. Well, I can tell you that this administration could really use my help. That yesterday the president came out and said that elections are rigged and he won 2020 election. Have you seen the poll numbers on independents? They're running away from this administration, and they voted for him in the last election. Have you seen the Hispanic poll numbers? They're running away from him, and they voted for him big time in the last election. I can go on. They are not paying attention. They're not listening. They don't understand. You know what this president's doing right now? He's going on a tour to talk about his economic successes. But people are not going to be voting on economic successes. They're going to be voting on not wanting to hear a president keep being a sore loser and saying elections are rigged. They don't want to continue to see videos of people that have lived here for 40 years, have had families, have paid taxes, being sent out of the country, leaving their families, and sending them to a country that they never came from. Duh. Do you know why they just took out all those people, this administration out of Minnesota? Because they were getting hammered on not ICE, but how they were handling things. But they still think they can go out and talk the economy. No. The women vote. Heading south. Why would that be? You call a woman reporter piggy? Oh, you think you're going to get the women vote for that? You call others retarded? Oh, sure. I'm the president's best friend, but he wouldn't listen to me. He needs to stop doing all that. Enough. But as of yesterday, elections are rigged. I won 2020. We move on. Speaking of, do you know the poll numbers for the 28th have Kamala Harris leading on the Democrat side? Now, I don't know if that's true or not, or just because she was the vice president, but right behind is the guy running California. And I actually think he's the front runner. But I also know he's been a horrible governor that has abused the citizenry there. And the only reason he's able to say, oh, well, our economy is this, is because California's great. It's a great state. The people. Are you ready? I had no idea the damage he has done to the state of California until Karl Rove did an op-ed today in the Wall Street Journal. You ready? U.S. News and World Report, best states, ranks California number 32 on its economy, 42 on fiscal stability, 45 on growth, 46 on employment, and dead last on opportunity. The Tax Foundation, by the way, this is U.S. News and World Report. This is not a righty outfit. The Tax Foundation's State Tax Competitive Index ranked California 48th overall. Only New Jersey and New York have worse tax systems. California was ranked 49th for taxes on individuals, 46th for sales tax, and 41st for corporate tax. Gavin Newsom. U.S. News ranked the state's 36th in pre-K through 12 education and 43rd on public safety. Only Hawaii has a higher cost of living. And do you know why Hawaii has a higher cost of living? It costs a lot of money to send things over there. It's okay that Hawaii has higher gas prices because there has to be brought in. Not California. The Virtual Capitalist Average Grocery Cost Index pegged California as the third most expensive state. Only Hawaii and Alaska, whose isolation requires expensive shipping, as I said, cost more. Then there's housing. Forbes found in September that the median California home, median, $906,000, nearly twice the national average of $462,000. Only Hawaii and D.C. were more expensive. I didn't even know it was that bad. How about the Central Valley High-Speed Rail Project? 15 years and $7 billion in federal funding. They have not laid a foot of track. Do you know what a state can do with $7 billion to help the citizens or the homeless or the veterans? They're running massive deficits with their high taxes. Florida is running surpluses with low taxes. Yet this guy is number 2 on the Dem side. And actually, I believe number 1. To be the Democratic candidate for presidency. Stunning, huh? Do you know if I took over California, everybody would be moving there, not leaving. They're talking about wealth taxes. And also, to Newsom's credit, he doesn't want the wealth tax. Bernie, the Marxist, ran in there this week to interfere, saying we need the wealth tax. The billionaires, the billionaires. The billionaires, the billionaires. Anyway, a massive failure. If I was running California, gas tax, history. The regulations, cut. Corporate tax, down. Invitation to business to get their asses back here, way up. But they can't. They have no ammo. They have no ammo. And now we're pending, we may go after the wealthy. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know this because I watched him in an interview saying what a wonderful thing California is. But you know why California does anything well? Because of the people that go to work every day trying to do better for themselves and their families. Upward mobility. And you know what Gavin Newsom is? He's just a mallet banging him over the head and a machete cutting him at the hips. I want to thank Karl Rove for this op-ed. Why? Dang. I'm here in Florida. They want to cut real estate taxes. New York City wants to raise it. By the way, go look up that story by that nutcase who's done a bunch of hiring of people who hate Jews. Anyway, just a little bit of tidbits for you as we move forward and get closer to 2028. Because in case you don't know, I believe his governorship is up in January, and he's going to be running around the world telling you how great he is. We just gave you some numbers. Hey, up next, we'll revisit the market and whatever else I can think of. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. We're doing this show very early. It's 1 o'clock. We're busy today, and we got some travel. The Dow's down 380, and Goldman's down $22. Goldman Let's see if I can find my little thingamabob here. 22 times 6.5 equals 143 Dow points on Goldman. By the way, the Dow has its way of following Goldman these days. Because if Goldman goes down, you got American Express down 7.5. That's another financial. You got Visa down 4, another financial. Between those two, that's about 70 Dow points. Make that 75. And also, you know what I continue to see in the Dow? IBM. They are just kicking that stock in the teeth. And I'm told, it is artificial intelligence. Which takes me to that. Every now and then, I find an article that really sticks out like a sore thumb. What I want you to do is go New York Times. There's a guest essay by a major league artificial intelligence software genius. The article is entitled "The AI Disruption We've Been Waiting For Has Arrived." Let me repeat that. The AI disruption we've been waiting for has arrived. I can't post it because there is a paywall behind it, but I'm sure there's a way, if you put that into a search bar, it'll come up. Let me repeat the title. The AI disruption. Darn it. Did I just lose it? We've been waiting for has arrived. It is a must read. A must read. It really gives a great insight. A great insight to why these software stocks just got bludgeoned and maybe the shape of things to come. And I don't know if he's right, but it was one hell of a great read. New York Times. It's under guest essay. I'm sure if you look it up or search, you shall find. We're doing a lot of legwork on artificial intelligence. I must tell you, it is a maze. It's a maze. It's like, you ever see those cornfield mazes? You got to work your way through, and I still think after studying it like crazy, I'm not so sure I still understand. I know what it does. I know what it can do. I don't know where it's going, and I don't know the big effect. Other notes today. Booking Holdings down $371, like 9%. Expedia is getting hit again. We're being told the artificial intelligence is going to hurt them also. By the way, they announced a 25-for-1 split, a higher dividend, and the stock's still getting crushed. So as we have said to you here, we're really watching. We're looking around. What's the next domino to get kicked over? If you think about it, they've crammed insurance, consulting companies, brokerage stocks, software stocks, to a certain extent, banks. Who's next? I don't know. But as you know, I have my screens up at all times, and we are on the lookout. and you should be too. Consulting stocks have been murdered. Tax Intuit has been destroyed. Their tax software, whatever, destroyed. And you know me, I'm not hyperbolic, but $813 down to $381 is destroyed. And by the way, $681 to $381 just in 2 months. And they've done nothing wrong. Earnings up 34%, revenue up 18%. The quarter before, earnings up 38%, the revenue up 20%. So we'll watch closely for you. Oh, and we're going to watch closely for us. We have our thinking caps on, now more than ever, because we just don't know. Nobody really knows the outcomes. All we can do is pay attention and get the heck out of the way. Oh, I forgot, they got the truckers. Oh my goodness, I forgot that. Though they've bounced up better because it was a karaoke machine company that came out with the news. So I gather after a closer look, they were saying Landstar went from 165 to 130 in hours. It's back up to 150. I didn't have the grapefruits to buy it at 130. Heck no. By the way, it closed that day at 137. It's up 9% in 4 days since. I just don't know if they're going to hit it again. We'll keep you informed. That all said, you have a great rest of your day. I have no clue how the market finishes, but it's icky right now. When you get home, do like we do, quite simple. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better, I promise. Stay well, be well. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.